Hi, it's Tim from Toy Tinker Tim. In this episode, I'm taking a look at a Big Jim from Mattel. This is a figure often overlooked, but it's a line that has quite a history and lengthy sales run of 13 years. Big Jim here is in his starter kit type form, and he came boxed with shorts, a dumbbell, his test of strength armband, a baseball, and a karate board. It's a basic setup with lots of add-on sale potential and room for changing and progressing storyline over the years. So I've got a graphic here. We're taking a look at the sales run of Big Jim. So when Big Jim launched in 1972, the G.I. Joe Adventure Team line had already successfully been running and rebooted by Hasbro for 2 years. 3 years into the run, and Kenner launched their $6 Million Man line of toys, which became a new spotlight and one that many of the toy creators were competing with. 1978 rolled around and a new powerhouse line of toys took over. The Kenner Star Wars action figure and vehicle sets. 1983 Mattel launched their He-Man line of toys, creating a whole new storyline for toys. It's not based off of a movie or comic book series. The toy came first and definitely had the power of success. Only a year later, in '84, Hasbro repackaged Takara's Diaclone and Microman toys as Transformers in the US, which are still selling today. Then in 1985, the line officially came to an end. Promotions and lines of Big Jim toys had still been going largely a big hit overseas, but mostly forgotten in the US market. There were many, many more cool toys and toy lines that came out during this time frame, but I'm just using these as examples to give you a reference in time. In '72, when Big Jim came out, he was introduced overseas as Mark Strong, and that had a huge focus on being a secret agent, a man of action. It was a theme that would carry out long there versus a heavier emphasis of sports in the U.S. The German toy maker named Big was the initial reason for the Mark Strong name being used until an agreement to use the Big in Big Jim name in the European countries. Mark Strong and Big Jim were essentially one and the same, except the initial figures differed in the hip ball design. Strong had a vertical line versus the Big Jim horizontal line. But before you pull the leg off your Big Jim to check out yours, unless you bought that figure from overseas, it's most likely just the horizontal design. You start with a basic figure with lots of potential, and there's potential in the outfit packs that were sold separately, but also for imagination. This figure has two main gimmicks that were the selling points. So the button in his back is pressed to activate his karate chop feature. That action was tied into other sets and characters in the line, and that would be such as using an axe or sword or even a whip. You can see from the patents a lot of planning was involved in creating this outwardly simple looking feature. The other unique feature explains the rubber arms. When his arm is bent at the elbow, he flexes his bicep muscle. You can see his muscle form in either arm, right or left. So to help play up on that unique feature, he came with a muscle band that you attach over his bicep. And when you make his muscle flex, his metal colored plastic band pops off. So the plastic metal bands here, the strength band, a lot of these are missing the metallic finish or it's very worn. And I don't know if it's just the age of the plastic, but like with this one, I've had a lot of trouble just getting it to stay closed on the arm. So it's developed a hair trigger type effect on it. So this is only an introduction into the Big Jim line from Mattel. You know, over his span of years, he had the Pack series, a 004 Spy series, and more. So this just kind of gets you into the background, the creating, and variations of the basic figure itself of Big Jim. The Mattel Big Jim line of figures all had molded on briefs. Some even had painted designs for Olympic themes. But this basic figure came with a pair of boxer-like shorts. Also included was a dumbbell so Jim could keep up his athletic powers and pump some iron. The clips on the side grip are designed to clasp onto the hand. This way, as you activate the arm action, he doesn't accidentally fling his dumbbell across the room. Later Big Jim figures had what were called gripping hands, where it was more of a molded in grasping pose or position. Next we have his karate chop board to demonstrate the strength of his lethal blow. He makes pretty quick work of the breakaway board, so it's worth demonstrating again, but in a slow motion approach this time. And yes, a baseball. Yes, it's a tiny scale baseball for Big Jim. I'm guessing it was too small to be considered a choking hazard, but definitely prone to being lost. You can place it in Big Jim's hand, and with the button in his back pressed, he can toss the ball. But I'm leery of it being a ball lost. So you'll just have to picture in your mind him throwing the tiny plastic baseball. So I've got some very basic care tips. These figures' arms are often discolored, and it's a common issue. I'm fortunate that this one here, they're just dirty. The body itself isn't bad, but the head is discolored along with the dirt and grime also. The hard shell plastic torso and legs are in very good shape here. Some caution on cleaning the rubber arms should be taken. Rubbing alcohol can dry out the rubber, and vinegar can also damage or eat into the rubber surface, so neither one of those should be used. Warm water and Dawn dish soap, a soft cloth, and a soft bristle toothbrush for tougher spots. If you've got some really heavy dirt on the rubber arms, try using a little baking soda with your warm water and the dish soap. Because the figure is older, I'm wanting to avoid water on the internal parts as much as possible. You know, the Big Jim line had outfits and sets for the figure, hitting the waves and underwater. But with the aging of the material on the inside, I'm a bit hesitant on totally submerging it now. It's almost over 45 years later. After a good cleaning, the vinyl head and the rubber arms come into a closer match to the main body color. So we've got a good uniform appearance. It's a nice presentation. The Big Jim line had some items that were repurposed from their heavy hitter Barbie line of toys. There was a plane, a camper, there was a camping set, just to name a few. We even had Major Matt Mason equipment show up into the line of Big Jim later. And likewise, items from Big Jim showed up in the He-Man line of toys. And that all leads to a whole different episode all on its own. So be sure and hit the subscribe button. Each subscriber helps the channel grow. Helps me to be able to keep creating new content, and be sure and share the episode with fellow collectors that you know might be of interest in starting off a new collection with Big Jim, and hit the like, and as always, thanks for watching.